things up. We had the qualifying for the Gixxer Cup, which you'll see up there now for one of their first, I think, of 3 races today. And then we had the past Masters. I did not have any information on that, so I wasn't able to bring you who was that. There were some of the teachers and some of the previous riders out here. Some of them on bikes they built, some of them not on bikes they built. Gixxer Cup is a 5-lap race out there in front of us. We've got 7 bikes out there on the track. 2, 4, 6, 7 bikes there. And looking forward to a good 5 laps. So we've got Shane Miller there on bike number 20, Justin Maunder on 17, Cameron Goldfitch 28, Curtis Boyd on 16, Sarah Humphrey on bike 14, and Caleb Gilmore 23, and Hamish Simpson on bike number 24. There's a new thing to the New Zealand motorcycling scene. Coming out last year, Suzuki New Zealand followed the lead, took the lead from the Asia Cup. There was Gixxer Cup bikes over there, and thought we'll bring those to New Zealand. Made about 25 bikes up and sold them for I think $6,000, including full quality riding gear, and had the first season, including if you were over 16 you were allowed to race at the legendary Cemetery Circuit on Boxing Day. The normal limit for this class is 14 to 21, and there is a weight limit for the rider and the bike. So if you're under that limit there, you are required to put some weights on the bikes and that sort of thing. All the bikes we've seen in New Zealand on the track are blue, but these are available retail. I saw a different colour the other day, but I've also seen red as well, so quite exciting. Look very much like the GSX R1000s and the 600s and that, the same sort of colour scheme, same sort of styling, same paint livery, so you can look like the big boys and get on one of these, and one day you'll be one of the big boys if you learn your skill right and enjoy the racing. And the bikes come with a stand and bits and pieces. They are available still. There is some second-hand race bikes on the market through Trade Me and through Suzuki New Zealand. You can also buy a brand new Gixxer Cup and get out there and join in. And we're starting to see some young ladies getting out there. Sarah Humphrey, I think I watched them get their bike off the trailer this morning. It hasn't even turned a wheel by the look of it. It's got oh, excuse me, it's got brand new tyres on it. I'm joined by Flea Willisey, who runs a Suzuki series, and you've been enjoyed involvement with the Suzuki Gixxer Cup as part of your role with the Cemetery Circuit and organising that.
Yeah, I have. Thanks, Ryder. Yeah, look, it's an exciting class. Great practice and kids to get out and have a go. It's the cheapest possible way to get into the sport. It's pretty even. Everybody's in strong. Comes down to riders. Yeah, we've already got, I think, 2 or 3 people being gone on to this year might be going to Asia Cup. Is that right, Ryder?
Yes, we have. Young Jesse Stroud. I think who else is lined up for that? James Barham was eligible for that, and young Blake Ross from the Gixxer Cup boy from last year. We've got Tom Newton, who won the series. He's going into Moto3 class, or 123 GP as we still call it in New Zealand, but there's a Moto3 eligible bikes here, so he's racing here. So already got some people moved up. Yeah, it's exciting. Look at that, 7 thousandths of a second, 7 thousandths of a second, less than 100ths of a second between first and second. Cameron Goldfinch from Wanganui on the 28 machine goes through there, but Shane Miller so close behind him with the fastest lap so far there, 7 thousandths of a second behind. Curtis Boyd there in 3rd place, and Sarah Humphrey, Hamish Simpson, Caleb Gilmore, and Justin Maunder as well. In fact, Justin Maunder looks like he's pulled out. I saw a bike slowing down on that centre or back straight somewhere along the line, so we'll see what they're doing down the back straight. Now, it's all about slipstreaming here. You'll often see when the Gixxer Cups at the New Zealand Superbike Championships and the Suzuki Series, the bike that the guys fox it on the last corner there, they come in there, they often want to be behind the leader because they want to get in behind them and get the slipstream and let their other rider break the wind, and you'll see them coming out and trying to pass just on the start finish line like we're looking at the moment. Just there it is, 7 thousandths of a second. What do we got now? 0.07 of a second between first and second, and Cameron Goldfinch has set the fastest lap with a 39.582 compared with a 39.649 for Shane Miller there in second place. Expecting Curtis Boyd on the 16 machine through now, and there he does, and also Sarah Humphrey on the 14 machine. Now, in terms of the Cemetery Circuit, I kept an eye on it. The average lap speed around the Cemetery Circuit was 80 k's an hour on the Gixxer Cups. Might sound not that quick, although it's still quick enough. That's the average speed. The Superbikes were doing not an extreme amount more, 117 kilometres an hour. Now, you're a former 125 New Zealand Grand Prix champion, or New Zealand title holder, Flea. That's all about corner speed, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it definitely is spot on. Look, all small bikes, it's all about corner speed. So, reality, getting the corner, braking it as less as possible on bikes that don't have the speed, obviously, and getting the drive out of the corners. So, actually, most of these small bikes, their corner speed probably is actually quicker than the super bikes. It's like that in Moto3 in the World Championships. The actual smaller bikes, their corner speed is actually quicker. But it's so crucial of getting corner speed, drive out of the corners, which helps along the end of the straight. Of course, you know, you'll be a kilometre quicker out of the corner. They reckon it doubles by the end of the straight, so it makes a huge difference, definitely.
And in terms of tyres, they're all on matching tyres here. Suzuki New Zealand have kept a good control over parts supply, not because they want to make money out of it. They don't want people going off and spending a fortune on parts overseas. They carry spare parts to the racetrack there. They carry spare parts to the racetrack, as we've seen Shane Miller go into the lead by 0.3 of a second, but I think that might have just changed there in turn one with Cameron Goldfinch in second place. But the parts are there. The bikes are very, very limited modification. Some of it's due to expensive replacement parts like the exhaust pipes. Mead Speed, a company in Hara, built the exhaust pipe systems, and you can actually buy one of those if you want to run a Gixxer Cup on the street. Get on to Trade Me, and they've got them for sale, or get hold of Mead Speed direct. And yeah, as I say, matching tyres, so that limits the advantage people can get. And it's all about the race skills that we're gleaning out of this class. It's about getting the bikes, the guys and the girls out there on identical bikes, and it's all about you. And even to the point of having a weight limit there, I think it's 183 or 187 kilograms. Suzuki New Zealand will tell you if you need some weights, they'll weigh you. They will tell you where to apply it on your bike and what sort of weights to use, and that's just about making it fair for everybody. Running belly pans as well, because if these motors do blow, and it is a legal requirement for all road racing in New Zealand, they've got a belly pan on them which catches any oil, so that limits the risk to the rider and more importantly to other riders, and of course the meetings as well. Occasionally you see guys and girls throw a bit more colour into their bike, and that certainly helps the commentators in the crowd to see who's who, especially last year where they all had pretty much identical leathers, and Alpine Star leathers, Alpine Star boots, Bell helmets, and I think they were Alpine Star gloves. So as a commentator, all the bikes are relatively the same colour, but the odd person's change the colours of the wheels, and I see one out there going up the centre straight with a different colour belly pan, and that's what we need, and also helps your sponsors and your families and everyone to identify. All the Gixxer Cup racing to date has been recorded by Ctas, ctaslive.co.nz, and you can go online and look at all that. And we've had some magic finishes. I was at Hampton Downs, and there was 5 bikes across the start-finish line in one of those races, and I tell you what, there wasn't more than 3 bike lengths between those 5 bikes, and that's a hell of a high-speed track, and that was on the international track, the huge track at Hampton Downs. So this is the best thing I've seen in motorcycle racing in New Zealand for 25 years, in terms of teaching people how to match corner speed and match, and it's all about the riding, not about who's got the biggest checkbook or who's getting out there and going the fastest, because they just got more dollars spent on their bike. So Shane Miller there on the last lap there, we're going to call through that there. Shane Miller was in the lead there by nearly half a second, 0.4, but that's a pretty tight margin considering on the big track. Cameron Goldfinch on 28 in second place, Curtis Boyd, Sarah Humphrey, Hamish Simpson. Then we've got Caleb Gilmore with Justin Mounder pulling out after on his first lap, and he's in the pit lane now. So
That young couple out there, their first time today actually on a racetrack with Bob.
and the same with Sarah Humphrey. As I say before, she had brand new tyres. She hadn't even ridden around the car park or up the street, so they went out in the qualifying session. You've got to take it easy on the new tyres for the first few laps. So Sarah Humphrey, she's just crossed the line in 4th place. In fact, has she crossed the line yet? No, we've only had the first 2 bikes cross the line, and there was a gap of 0.2 of a second. So Cameron Goldfinch, early leader there for a couple of laps, came back and closed up the gap, 0.448 I think it was in the lap before, down to quarter of a second. So Shane Miller took the win on bike number 20, Cameron Goldfitch on 28, Curtis Boyd goes through there on bike number 16, looking out down the front straight here, and I think that's got to be bike number 14, indeed it is. You can see the 1-4 on there is Sarah Humphrey there, the ponytail flapping around in the wind. Sarah Humphrey goes through there and takes 4th place. A couple more races later in the day. What do we got up to this after this? I think we've got the lunch break next, and then we go to the final round of the MiniMotoGP Championships, the 12th year it's been running. It's just such an inspirational meeting as we see Hamish Simpson coming round this big sweeper there, the Go Media corner onto the front straight, followed in behind. I think that must be Caleb Gilmore there. Yes, where's the lead bikes? Yep, the lead bikes are not coming into the pits, so that is Hamish Simpson coming through there on the 24 machine, and Caleb Gilmore. So great Gixxer Cup racing. They had their first ever race here at Manfeild this time last year, and got guys coming from all over the countryside. One of our leading riders was Blake Ross from Pyro. We've got top guy from Greymouth, whose name eludes me at the moment, but try to think of too many names here, but certainly an inspirational sport. Contact Suzuki New Zealand. They are here. Sloane Frost, our current New Zealand Superbike champion, is here. You can have a talk to him. The Suzuki reps, you can talk to them, or go into any dealer if you want to purchase one of these bikes. There's often a test ride machine available at some of the track days, particularly the Moto TT days. We're going back to a bit of the radio, folks, and right now it's lunch break.